that artwork? I see.
No, it's a pizza box.
I'm dead. Yep.
Lost my
That is
fan.
that is the best one yet. A pizza
So
box.
that's the energy we've got for y'all today. Just fair warning. But hello, divas, and welcome to the Currently Unnamed Podcast, where we put the real and the tea in reality. And you can always come to us first to quench your thirst. Sorry to the people of the UK. That was a pretty bad accent. I don't know where that accent was from. Anyway,
I don't think
I'm Logan
believe
Murphy.
that.
I don't know. I was going to say, I don't know if you do either, Eris, but it's fine. I'm Logan Murphy, the gay. I am drinking Coke Zero because I'm the Coke Zero girly of the podcast today. Yes, it's a thing now, Lana. Get over it.
I am already over it. You can. We have no Coke Zeros of the girlies of the podcast.
We do now.
We never had Coke Zero girlies of the podcast.
Yes, we do now. It's me. It's me until we have Jeannie come back on the podcast, and then it's Jeannie again.
You started, Jeannie. Jeannie, you see what you started, because before you, there was no Coke Zero girlies of the podcast, and then all of a sudden, because you pull out Coke Zero, everybody wants to be Coke Zero girlies of the podcast. I'm done. I'm over it. I'm done. Oh, you know what? I'm gonna go. You all have a good.
No.
Coke Zero girlies of the podcast. Indeed. I just can't. You all stop it. Anyway, hey everybody. I'm Lana, your resident evil diva. Apparently I'm living up to that name today. And that's fine. And I'm here to give the tea, spill the tea, and drink the tea, because you know I love me some tea. I'm drinking Sprite. Oh, I guess that makes me the Sprite girly of the podcast. Ooh. But
I almost had a Sprite Zero today.
You know what? I can't. I'm just going to show you my cup mug, because here it is. Get you one at lanagscreations.etsy.com. You can get it. We have other merch in that shop as well. We do ship internationally and domestically, so there are no excuses unless your country is on fire or you live in a war-torn country. Then yeah, there are some excuses. But after all of that is over, you want to celebrate with a Coke Zero, I guess, or Sprite, and a cup mug, and then you're a cup merch. So get your stuff. Period. Coke Zero.
Well, I'm David Healy, and I don't have a cute intro, but I do have a cute shirt. I am wearing my Lipsync Assassin shirt, which, if you know, you know. This is Miss Tace's shirt. Most of it's on the back, but it just says Lipsync Assassin on the front. And I love Tace. I figured, who's a better queen to wear for the premiere episode than probably my favorite Drag Race UK queen ever. But today I am the water girly of the podcast, just drinking some water, because I'm usually the water girly. And that's true.
Mm-hmm.
And hey up, Chucks. I'm Eris, your punk rock hairy fairy, your favorite fairy drag queen and rugby player. I'm actually the water girly of the pod today, because I've got a whole ass decanter, bitch. And also, this glass is stolen.
I got you. I beat you, bitch.
Wait, hold up to your head. Oh, yeah. Damn. Okay.
Purr! Just stack them on top of each other.
David has two, and he wins.
I was about to make a comment that I'm not going to make. Anyway, yeah, this is the energy we've got going into what was a spectacular premiere of Drag Race UK Series 6. Now, I've said it the last couple of premieres that we've talked about, because these seasons this year are giving. This might have been my favorite premiere of the year. Like, I really was impressed with these girls right out of the gate. I loved this premiere.
I too like this premiere a lot. I have to say I enjoyed it. I thought everybody was good in their own way. It was just like I don't think anybody was horrible. Was everybody the same at the same skill level sets of talent when we talk about it? No. But everybody's was interesting. I just say I wasn't bored by the talent show. I would give you that. It was interesting.
Everyone excelled in at least one part of this episode.
Yes.
If for nothing else, at least one part of the episode each. Some more than others.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree with you all. I thought it was a strong start. It's kind of early to call whether the season's going to be a great season. I'm optimistic. I will say there's a thing that I noticed for US seasons early on. I was like, what's up with every third season being a season I really like? For UK, I'm starting to think it might be every even season. Like, because I love 4, and 6 is starting off really strong. So I don't know. It could
5 was good too.
5 was okay. It was okay.
I like 5 more than the average person. I know that for sure. But yes,
I didn't like 5 for reasons.
5 was so far my favorite UK season I've ever seen. Because I've only seen one season I've ever seen. So,
period.
You need to watch season 2. It's so good.
Yeah. With what time?
I'm not gonna do that.
I am also happy to report that we do have our resident dog caster here today.
Hey.
Rocket has decided to join me for at least right now. I don't know how long that'll be for, but he will be giving me his opinions on this premiere episode, and also just chilling. So we're going to go ahead and dive into this premiere. Before we do, though, make sure to subscribe if you've not already, because we're here almost all the time giving you almost all things drag. And as of next week, that is going to be 5 drag shows a week. So we are going to be working overtime here to get y'all all of the content that we possibly can. And make sure to check out the description below, where you can find all of our audio podcast links, our other YouTube channels, and our Patreon for exclusive content and early access, including early access to the Look Over Here episodes for all the franchises that we are currently covering. So, if you've been around for the last couple of premieres of Drag Race that we've done, we do things a little bit differently here because we have our recap episode and our Look Over Here episode. So this episode is going to be some first impressions. We're going to talk about the cabaret. We're going to talk about the workroom and the results of the episode. And then make sure to go check out our Look Over Here episode, where we are talking in depth about the entrance looks as well as the runway looks. So with that being said, we're going to start with our brief first impressions on this cast overall. That's not the one I wanted. That's the one I wanted. That's not the one I wanted.
No, it's the other one.
That's not the one I wanted.
The second Drag Race one.
That's that's
the second Drag Race one.
this one.
No.
Yippee. Oh, you can't see my face. That's right. Okay, let me
sit up a little
bit.
I'm real... Oh no, where did it go?
Hold on.
Oh, that might be bad.
Technical difficulty.
Not the ball ones.
Not the ball. I got it. Don't worry, everyone. I got it.
Is this it?
No. I just edited it. Hold on.
Yeah, you fixed it.
What's wrong with that one?
What happened?
Ball ones.
No, I just edited it. Hold on.
Sorry.
Boom.
Pause.
There we go. This is
it should have been the bigger one.
Not the ball one.
The bigger one.
The one where we look closer.
Yeah, I don't know where that one is. It's this one.
Ow.
Why is that face so big?
I got it. It's this
There
one.
it is.
There we go.
That is the one we wanted.
It had somehow gotten edited differently.
Who did that? Not me.
Probably me. I'm gonna be honest, probably me. But
I got it.
Anyway, after our live technical difficulties, we are gonna start with our brief first impressions, starting with first impressions on Release a Slaves.
I will say.
Oh, yeah, that's
I'll start since
cool.
I was impressed. And I wasn't that impressed for the promos. And so I was like, she made me eat my words a little bit, especially in this episode. So I was impressed by Miss Relisa, period.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think she's a lot more fresh than she felt in the Meet the Queens.
Mhm.
And there's just something like really powerful about her presence in the show. Like, I absolutely get why they brought her out first to be the first person in the workroom. And I'm really enjoying her. I think she's so talented. She's one of my favorites. And I absolutely am obsessed with the dynamic that we're getting between her and Kiki right now. And we will talk about it more, I'm sure, as we go on. But she is a contender. Watch out.
I just can't believe Rihanna decided to compete on Drag Race before releasing a new album.
Isn't it so good?
I know. She is amazing, though. I really, really like Releaser. I'm getting narrator of the season vibes already.
I think I'm gonna do some word association for each queen. I think that's the way I want to do things. So I'm gonna do 3 words a queen. For Relisa, after this episode, I'm gonna say stunning, gorgeous, Rihanna.
I mean, 2 of those were synonyms.
And I was making a reference, but none of you got the reference, I guess.
Was it gorgeous, fierce, and yellow?
Thank you, Eris.
There we go. I got it.
Thank you,
I'm
Eris.
terminally online as you are.
I can always count on Eris to get my references and nobody else. So, first impressions on Charity. I think it's only correct to have Eris go first.
I was so excited. Oh, when she walked in, I don't have words. I'm so proud of her. I'm so happy. I literally like grabbed my flatmate's hand and screamed when she walked in. I think she's so adorable as well, and everyone gets to see like what a sweet and lovely person she is. She really is just such a kind soul, and I'm glad we're all going to get to see that this season.
Yeah, I think my 3 words for Chara are going to be adorable, charismatic, and
Yellow.
youthful. Honestly, it's going to be yellow instead. It's going to be yellow and blue and red.
I think Chara is adorable. I think she's so sweet, very kind. From what we've seen in this episode. And my first impression of her was I was like, oh, she's just as colorful as her Instagram. I kind of like. But throughout this episode, I grew to appreciate and understand her a little bit and but wanting. This was my thing. I was like, I want her to have this journey in this show. I want her to be on this show long enough to have a journey where she gains her confidence, because it feels like she lets other people get in her head and dictate things that she should not. And I want her to get to that point and be like, you know what? I don't care what you say. I am that girl. I am that girl. I am a queen. I'm this kind of queen. This is who I am. You can like it or you don't. It don't matter. I'm still going to be me. I just want her to grow into herself and just be so amazing, because I think she'll be one of those queens that I'm like, oh, I just want to hang out with her. I want to be around her. She seems so nice and so sweet, but I want her to be like, but dang it, I'm that bad chick. I'm that chick and you can't get me. You coming at me and go shake me. And I want her to get that confidence. I don't want her to get shaken. And when I watched this episode, I was like, I will fight. Like, leave her alone. Leave her alone. Don't do that. Don't do that to her, because she seems so sweet and so innocent that I don't want people to do that to her. But but sometimes I feel like she might need to get bopped a little bit just so she can get that skin to be like, oh, okay, I took a punch, but that's all right. I'm back and I'm be even better than I was before. That's what I want from her. I want her to be in this so we can see her journey. I hope we get that. I hope we get that from her.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's really hard to not be endeared by her right now. There's just this enthusiasm, and like she just kind of feels like an underdog already. And so I find myself really rooting for her success. And even like the conflict we did get, I really like that she did have a voice. She did state it, made it clear. She didn't let herself get steamrolled. And I really appreciate that from her. Yeah, I think she could have such an interesting journey. And there's still something, I called it, but there's something about her face and her mouth specifically that is just like, even out of drag, I'm getting so much Cherry Valentine from her. And I love Cherry so much. So like I can't help but have that kind of rub off on her too, just because their facial structure is so similar.
The way they did the intro for this season 2 with the highlights from each season, and they ended the season 2 segment with Cherry's laugh, I cried. I started crying. I was just like,
I did too.
But no, I do get very Cherry Valentine energy from her too, and I love that. I'm really happy about that.
That's more than 3 words. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
You get so annoyed so easily. Oh,
Next up, Zahira Zapanta.
David, you start this time.
Yeah, I will start because I'm a big fan of Zahira. She's somebody that I feel like is one of the strongest presence amongst this cast. And I'm so glad that she's having very real conversations already. Conversations we haven't even seen on Drag Race before. I think she's there. She represents a lot of people who are just having their voices like represented through her. I'm really into her. I don't know if it was the best premiere for her, but I think that she's going to have a lot of highs throughout the season.
Yes.
Oh, okay. I like Zahira. I feel like her energy changed a little bit from the promo to the episode. Like in the promo, I got more of like a bad gal energy. She was giving all that, but I didn't see it as much in the episode. However, I do think she is really funny, and I've enjoyed all the moments she's had with Saki so far.
I am obsessed with Zahira. I am obsessed with her. I am obsessed with her. I am obsessed with her. And we talked about doing this before the podcast. We haven't said anything on the podcast about it, but I am giving her my top shelf of this episode. She is the number one person after this episode I am the most excited about seeing. She reinforced everything that I really loved about her in the Meet the Queens, and her energy and spark and all of that. I absolutely love Zahira.
All I can say about Zahira is loud. She is loud and proud, and she does not care. She's like, her screams are ringing in my ears as we speak. Like, she just, every time somebody came in, I was just like, oh my God. But I loved it. I loved its excitement. I loved the enthusiasm. I liked her. And I'm just going to say this. I expect every wig of hers to be on point from this point on, because baby girl can do some wigs. She can do some wigs. And I'm like, oh, okay. I'm going to need a call afterwards, because I'm going to need some wig lessons and some wigs done, because this wig is giving me life. But I like her. I think she's cool. I don't know how I'm interested. I am still questionable about how she is going to be throughout the season, but she is giving very much narrator energy in this like, she's going to give us some narrations happening and doing this season. So can't wait.
Yeah. Next up, first impressions on Chanel O'Connor, and I am happy to say I am obsessed. I am obsessed with Chanel. I am obsessed with Chanel. She's someone that really stood out to me in this episode for every moment she had, honestly. I thought every moment she had, the fighting, her performance, everything, like, she stood out to me as a very strong main character of this season.
I will say this about Chanel. She is one petty heifer, but I'm not that mad at it. I'm not that mad at it, because I love a good petty heifer. If you gonna be a petty heifer, make sure it's an entertaining petty heifer. And this heifer right here is petty to the bone, and I love it. But I will say this. She tripped me out when she was like, I made all of my outfits for this occasion. I made all of my outfits when I came here today. And then someone else, I can't remember who came in and was like, I made all of mine but one. And she was like, but you didn't make
Marmalade.
Marmalade. I made all of them but one. She's like, but you didn't make all of them. I was like, girl, it was just one. And she said she made them
Everything.
all
I love
but
it.
one.
I love it.
I was
I
like,
love her.
relax. But I loved it. Like low key, I was like, girl, calm down. But low key, I was like, oh, girl, but that's so funny and stupid. I wanna be like, I'm obsessed with her. I'm not obsessed, but I'm watching you, girl, because your level of petty is giving me kinds of life sometimes, and then it takes away some of my life some of the time because, like, you took away my life when you came for charity the way you did, and I was like, that wasn't necessary. But then you gave me the life back when you were like, girl, you came. I made all of my looks. You didn't only make none but one, but whatever, not all of them. I was like, okay, you give me life. So I'm back and forth. I'm on a roller coaster with Miss Chanel, and I like roller coasters. So let's see how this season play out. See how we end up, Miss Chanel. Let's see at the end of the season where you land on my petty radar. Am I living, or have you lost?
And was it you, David, or is it me?
Yeah, I think it's me next. Yeah, what I'm excited about with Chanel is I appreciate Drag Race because across the franchises we see that they put people on that are so underrepresented in media, people that we haven't seen on these shows before, and finally we have somebody here representing for the 1%. We have our first rich queen. Yes, we got a rich queen. No, I love that that's her persona.
Representation matters.
It does matter. That 1% needed to know with $6 in her bank account.
Yes. No, I just love that she leans into that character and she commits to it hard, and it is so funny. And even we talked about it on the Instagram video, how like one of her videos was like talking about how expensive. Everything about it is just such a fun and interesting character. And I like that she can keep that character and her true authentic self kind of separated too. So I actually do really like her. I think she was a bigger presence than I expected going into this episode. I could have seen her being somebody who got lost in the shuffle. She didn't. For better or for worse. She definitely made her mark in this episode.
And in the spirit of being a petty heifer, I would like to point out that Chanel said she made absolutely everything she wore, but she wore a sweater knitted by her grandma. So, Chanel, what is the truth?
Let's be petty. Let's be petty.
That being said, I'm entertained by Chanel's personality, and I'm eager to see her argue with literally anyone that isn't Charity.
Valid. Valid. Next up, first impressions on Actavia, Lana.
I love her. I absolutely love her, and I didn't think I would love her as much as I do love her. If we talking top shelf, this is my top shelf because she came in fire. I liked her energy when she came into the workroom. I liked how she would just, I don't know. And then I liked her throughout this episode. I really did like her throughout this episode. For me, I like her. She was one of my, I think I have like 2 top shelves, but she was definitely one of them. I really like her. This whole, we'll talk about it. Look over here. I'm sorry. I'm about to get into something else. Yes, go David. Go.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I really like her too. Going into this premiere, I was kind of thinking that we had her and Kyron kind of filling the same like area of this season, and I'm like, okay, well, which one's going to do better? Who's going to stand out amongst the two? And I honestly was starting to feel like Actavia was there to be like the early out version of Kyron. And honestly, she by far exceeded my expectations. I thought she had a very strong episode all around. Like there was nothing where I thought she dropped the ball this episode. So I'm super excited. And hey, we can have two similar, and they're not even that similar, but two similar types of queens both succeed. And I'm here for it. I'm really into Octavia.
I adored everything Octavia did this episode. I'm fully obsessed. What made me happiest is how much she just kept speaking in Welsh and using it in her performance and using it in her entrance line, because we're at risk of losing Welsh as a language. So to see it broadcasted on the BBC is such a special moment, especially on Drag Race. Like, it was really beautiful. And I just want to give Octavia her tens because she is so fucking amazing.
I forgot I was only doing 3 words for each queen, so the last 2 don't. Whatever. Octavia for me: spunky, energetic, and this will be a third phrase. She shut me up. She shut me up. Next up, first impressions on La Voix, Eris.
Oh, I've loved everything about Lana this episode. When everyone came in and they sort of like froze up and like, well, oh crap, Lavoie is here. Good, because that is a legend. And everything she's done this episode has just like exuded like classic camp British cabaret drag, and she just oozes charisma, and I love it. I also love that she celebrated not being the oldest queen on the cast. Yeah, I think she's brilliant. I think one of my favorite moments was when she said, "Don't get bin juice on my rhinestone gown."
Professionalism, funny, winner. Also, I do love that Lavoie being 6th into the workroom. She was the first person into the workroom this season who was actually born in England. Because no one else was born in England other, like, of the 5 people we already talked about.
Oh, yeah.
Which,
interesting. I just love her. I just love Lavoie. This I love that she knows. She knows who she is. She knows what she's doing. She's been doing it for 20 years. She just knows. And she ain't afraid to tell you that she know either. Like, she is not one to mince no words. And I like that because she's like, look here, I've been doing this for 20 years, baby. You can't tell me nothing that I don't already know. And I'm willing to learn some things, but you can't tell me nothing. You know what I mean? She's just polished. Like, that's my word for her. She's just polished and she just knows. I am looking forward to seeing what she does. She's giving me main character energy in this season, and we don't have a lot of the older queens usually on the seasons that I've watched that were the main character. So I kind of love that for her.
Yeah, I'm with you there. And I think what's really interesting about her is you could see her coming in potentially and just having like this aura about her, like, I'm kind of above it all. I'm kind of above you all. In fact, I would almost say that most queens that have been on Queen of the Universe have that to a degree when they go on a season. And I didn't get that from her. Like, yeah, she knows what experience she has, but she didn't seem like she was above anybody. She felt like she was on their level and she wasn't being braggadocious throughout the episode. So I just really like that she's still very grounded. And she was just a sweetheart, and I loved her obsession with everybody's age when they came in, like asking, "How old are you? Are you older than?" Oh no! Oh, somebody's older than me. I thought it was adorable. She's great.
I will say really quickly about her. I love that she gains and garners respect from everybody. When she walked in the room and like you say, Eris, everybody froze. Was like, "Oh my god!" And they're like, "We are effed right now. Like, do
Yeah.
y'all see who that is?
Everyone just watched their like
Every
chance of getting into the finale slim
yeah,
by a portion of one. because
right. They
they
were
know
just
she's
like,
gonna be
she
there.
just took a spot. She just took a spot. So it's
So
3 of
there's
us
3 more
left.
spots in the
3 more
finale. Let's
spots
figure it
left.
out.
That's literally, they were doing the math in here. Like, there's 3 more spots left. I love that. I love that she is so well rounded and like so professional that she garners the respect from her peers and that people just know. And it's some people who've been doing stuff for a long time and they still don't get the respect because they haven't done anything to get respect from people. But when you've done it and people know you and they respect you, that means you really done it. So I love that about her.
Mhm. Next up,
What's
first
hers?
impressions on Marmalade. David?
I love Marmalade. She is just in that realm of like a Banksy type of queen that they just have such a great fashion sense. And I was not let down at all by her looks this episode. We'll get into it on Look Over Here. But I'm just so impressed that she makes everything that she wears too. I think there is a very thoughtful, heady queen here. Like you can tell that she's very deliberate in everything she does and everything she presents, including with her talent show. So I really appreciate and respect those kind of queens. I think she's absolutely going to be a strong favorite of mine this season.
I think Marmalade's very intellectual. I think she's very smart. I think she's a lot more conceptual than what we've seen so far. I'm excited to see more. I also think she's kind of charming. Like she's a lot more laid back, but I still think she's very funny. And yeah, I just can't wait to talk about everything she's done this episode because I love a lot of what she presented.
Intentional, intellectual, charismatic.
That face. Are y'all looking at that
Mhm.
face?
Oh,
My
yeah.
God, man. Stunning. I enjoyed her in this episode. I can't wait to talk more about her. Yeah, she made all of her looks except one. So you're not all that, Marmalade. No, I'm just kidding. You're everything. You're not all that because you didn't do all of your looks. But no, you're stunning. You're beautiful. I was very impressed by her this episode, and I can't wait to talk about her.
Next up, first impressions on Kyron Thrax. Stupid as fuck. Done.
I can't stop laughing every time when she walked in. I was like, "You are so crazy and so wild." So, but in like this is a trash bag dress, but in a fashion way. Like it's really good. Like it's trash bag chic, if you will. And and when she said, "I'm a psychopath," I was like, "Are you?" And I'm ready to enjoy all the psychotic stuff you pull in this. Like, I want to see everything. She intrigued me. She was somebody else. I was like, "Oh, you're stupid and funny in the best possible way." And I can't wait to see. And the bin juice, I was like, even from the beginning when she wasn't even out there, she was like, "Hey, who forgot to move the bins?" I was like, "You're crazy." I love her. I really find her endearing.
I agree. It is time for me to talk about my top shelf queen of this episode. And boy, so I had the idea of the top shelf queen. Well, not that term, but somebody who just started off a premiere with a bang. And this queen is the one who inspired me to even think of this because it's hard for me to think of another queen this year that had such a strong and powerful and kick-ass premiere. I loved everything she did. This is my kind of queen. And now like learning, I found out she's Charity Case's drag daughter. It
Yep.
makes sense because Charity Case was my favorite in her season. So I can already tell. I think she's going to go down. I'm calling it now. I think she's going to go down as one of my all-time favorite queens internationally. And she's absolutely winning. I'm calling it now. She's winning. She's winning. She's giving me everything I need. I'm obsessed. Obsessed.
All right.
And I'm very attracted to her out of drag. There's two.
Shocker.
There's two. She's the first one.
This absolute effing goblin. I don't know where they found her, but I need to know if there's more. I need to know if there's more of it because I am obsessed. It was the bin juice. It was Susie. It was the mayonnaise. It was flying around on a broomstick. She just went for every stupid joke she could and delivered it every time. I don't have any words for her other than Goblin Queen.
They found her in the bins. That's where they found her, baby. That's where they found her. And baby, she rocks the bins. She rocks them. Love her.
The fact that she is the drag granddaughter of Raja just also kills me. I love that so much. Next up, first impressions on Saki Yu. Lana.
I liked Saki Yu. I kind of, you know what I felt with Saki? I felt like she had like her and oh gosh, Zahira. I didn't want to pronounce it wrong. I didn't want to say it wrong. Yep. Her and Zahira being the two Filipino queens in the bunch. I love that for them. But with Zahira, I felt the energy, the youthfulness, the very excited nature of being here. With Saki, I felt like she was like more grounded, a little bit laid back, a little bit like, I know what I came here to do. Like, I'm very professional. I know what I'm here for. I'm gonna have a good time while I'm here, but I'm not gonna let things sidetrack me. I'm not gonna let other people, I and she was like, she's 33. She did cruise ships. Yeah. I liked her sense of humor when she was like, did you do? Oh, I do cruise ships. Oh, do you sing? She was like, no, honey, no. And he's like, do you actually do? I was like, you don't have to sing to do cruise ship performance. She could do lip sync. She could do anything else. But then seeing her talent and all else, I was like, okay, I get what she does on cruise ships. She's, she's a comedy, campy type queen. And I like that. I really do. I think she is somebody who is going to either be middle of the road in this competition. No, I think she's gonna be middle. Ain't no other or. I think she's gonna be somebody I'm gonna keep my eye. I did enjoy her. She didn't have the hugest impression in this episode, but I feel like there's so much more to come with her. So I'm ready to see what she can do.
Yeah, going into this episode, there were 3 queens that I had in mind. Like, these are 3 queens that could be potentially early out, could be first out. And I will say, I think 2 of those 3 kind of lived up to my expectations. One of them far exceeded my expectations. And Saki Yu was the one that exceeded my expectations. I thought she had a really strong premiere. I found her super likable. I really enjoyed her talent show. We'll get into it. And what I really like about her is that she's coming into this season with a goal, a very deliberate goal to represent things that she doesn't feel like have been represented among Filipino queens and change minds. And I think she's going to do it. She wants to show, like, don't drop your expectations for Filipino queens. We're not all just pretty dolls that don't have much to offer when it comes to comedy. And she's already proving that because she was so funny this episode. Really like her.
I was excited to have Saki on Drag Race. I feel like she's been kind of tame in the episode and a little bit drawn back. I can't wait to see more of her because I feel like everything she did in her talent show is what I'm used to her doing when she used to work down at the show bar on Saturdays. And I just want her to show more of that showgirl essence she has because Saki is so breathtaking in person and is such like a commanding presence on stage. I just want more. I'm really glad we saw her have the conversation she did with Zahira, though. I think that was a really beautiful moment. I don't think she's going to be middle of the road. I think if she puts it into gear, she's going to do really well.
I think my 3 words for Saki are going to be demure, mindful, and stupid in the best way. I'm obsessed with her. My draft team could not be happier with my draft team after this episode. I'll say that too. Oh, next up, first impressions on Lil. Eris.
This was my top shelf. I'm obsessed with Lil. There's something so like quintessential, like dreadful British humor about it that I just really love, and she's subdued but in the best way. And I'm gonna say this now, and if this person is watching, you're gonna have to trip me over at training for it. But she has the exact same voice as someone on my rugby team, and I was getting a drink as she walked in, and I turned around because I thought that person had walked into my flat. So Lil, if you're
That's
watching this, you have the
fun.
same voice as a 6'2" rugby player. But she's brilliant. Everything she did was amazing, and all her references were so good. And I can't wait to talk about all of them. And just sorry, I don't know if I can. I don't have words. Goblin.
Great. I will go ahead and say she was my other top shelf pick of this episode. Obsessed, stupid, brilliant.
I liked her a lot. I really, really did. I enjoyed her very much. I loved her sense of humor. It's very, like you said, Eris, very quintessential British, dry, dreaded, dry, sarcastic, like sense of humor. And I am a fan of it. I am a fan of it I'm a fan of it when it's done right. I'm a fan of it when it's done right for me, because sometimes I feel like some people's dry sense of humor is not right, and it's just like, oh, that didn't hit right. She was so, and she's somebody else who I'm like, please let her narrate the season. Please let her narrate the season. I want to hear all of her thoughts, hear what she says. I'm here for her, love her, and I can't wait to talk more about everything about her on the look over here, because we got things to talk about.
Yeah, so I remember during the Meet the Queens, I said I was getting first out energy from her. So imagine I have that written down right here. I'm eating those words hard because I am so obsessed. She was my favorite Instagram to go through when we did the Instagram review video. I just think she's really up my alley and what I like in drag. I I just can't say enough about her. Just everything about her personality and what she's presenting as far as talent and looks. Well, we'll get into the looks, but I'm really digging her, and I would love to see her in the finale.
Her. Next up, first impressions on Kiki Snatch. David?
Okay, here's the other one. Here's the other one that I think is so attractive out of drag. So cute. But also just as gorgeous in drag and such a vibe. Like all of my notes involving Kiki throughout the episode had the word vibe in them because there's just this whole aura to her and how she presents herself. And it's just cool. It's just like hypnotic and cool and smooth. And I just like, it's interesting that I wore my taste shirt because there are like angles to her drag and personality that give me taste in the best way. So I'm super here for her. I'm really excited for Kiki this season.
Oh, it comes around this way. Sorry. I love
it has the
Kiki.
whole time, Eris. Every single time we've spoken in this episode so far, you have gone after David every single time.
Pattern
Except the times you
recognition and we
started.
don't get along. Anyways, I love Kiki. She's just as sweet as Saint Lucia. I think she's brilliant. She can fucking sing. Like, I know, Lana, you said you weren't super sure from the promo, but I think she did a lot better in the actual challenge. And I just love her energy. And I'm going to agree with David. Extremely hot out of drag. Kiki, if you're watching, call me.
I will third that comment. Thank you very much.
It's specifically like what she's wearing to it. Like it almost gives me like football player, like just the way it sits on her. Like it almost like exaggerated. Like it reminds me, Lana, you know what I'm talking about, right? It's kind of like those football uniforms almost. And I think that kind of makes it like more attractive.
Oh, in Confessional?
Yes, yes.
Oh, I really thought you were talking about her entrance look here for a second. I was
No.
like, don't you dare.
No.
No. I love her, but I have to do a double 3-word for her because there's too much for me to say. So, alluring is actually one of the words that I had. Hypnotic was another word that I had. And charming. And then I also want to say, for anything I said about her preseason, shut me up. Boom.
I hate this group of people so much. I can't read the messages as I'm trying to talk. Kiki is a vibe. You're right, David. Kiki is a whole vibe. And this was my other top shelf of the episode because and this is the thing the promo did not do and the video, the Meet the Queens did not give me who I thought Kiki was. And I didn't know what to expect from Kiki. But if this is what we're getting, I'm here for it all day long. Give me this Kiki every single day. And I'm rocking with it. I'm vibing with it. I want to go to a show, hear Kiki live, so I can just sit back and sway. She's giving me very much. Shout out to Eve for the It's a Vibe shows that she do, because I feel like Kiki would be perfect for in the It's a Vibe.
Taco Tuesday?
Oh, huh?
Taco Tuesday?
Yeah, It's a Vibe on Taco Tuesdays. That's when, or Saturdays when Eve would do hers on, Sultry Saturdays, I like to call it, or Soulful Saturday per. In Chicago, if you're in Chicago, y'all better check out Eve the Bunny and the It's a Vibes shows that she does. Find out when she's doing
Available on some podcasts here at the Cup.
Find out next time she does one. But yeah, Kiki was spectacular. I enjoyed her from beginning to end, and I love the St. Lucian combination of her and Relisa and how they just was like the second Relisa saw her, her face lit up. She was just like, oh my God. And then she saw her and they just connected. The same thing happened when Suki saw Zahara. Oh my gosh, please.
Saki saw Zahira.
Zahira. I need to get that together because I was just about to call her Zahara. That is not her name. Zahira.
And Saki, not to be confused with Suki Doll.
I said Saki.
You said Suki, but she doesn't even know Suki Doll, to be fair.
Oh, well.
I said Suki?
You did.
Yeah.
That's okay.
Well, Saki with Zahira, and those two, how they just, and then all 11 of the Manchester girls, like it's a whole heap of them. So but I do love that. I love Kiki. I loved her vibe. I loved her.
Yeah.
This whole episode, I loved her vibe. So top shelf of for me, like her. And yeah.
Strong representation for the world in this season of Manchester versus the world.
Right. Because it's Manchester versus the world.
The world.
That was funny.
Oh, I have one more set of 3 words for Kiki. Nails, no breasts. That's 3.
Yeah. Oh, that's 3.
Love you, Vanity Vane. Love you.
Thanks for the reminder, David.
Thanks, David. Last up, first impressions on Dita Garbo. Once again, my 3 shut me up. And I'll explain more later.
This is she's good. She's good. She's gonna be good. I'm not worried about this one. Not worried about this one at all. I think I enjoyed her vibe from the moment she walked in. I was just like, I don't know. And she's standing there, and they're like, turn around. Who are you? The anticipation is killing me. And she's just like, oh, hello. And everyone's like, ah! I just
Everyone's like,
that.
Wait a minute. Who are you?
And they're like, who's
an
that?
icon?
I loved it. I think she is polished. She knows. Look, she's 48 years old. She know who she is. Ain't no way she gonna be coming in here. And then I like how she said, I mean, I've been doing it for some time, and then I stopped doing it and came back and did it. I think she is also someone who is going to be, they are going to let narrate this season because her confessionals are something else. And I'm interested. I like her. I like her a lot.
Me too. First of all, welcome back, Dita. Strong welcome back to drag. I'm so glad because this is what you should be doing. I think there's something so refreshing and so different about her compared to just about any other queen from any franchise. And you can tell, like, all the girls knew whoever came in last, they must be special. They must be important because they were all talking about, oh, I thought I'd come in last. And she's there for a reason, and she came in last for a reason too. I think she's going to be somebody to watch out for. I really like her.
Logan had 3 words. I have 1. MILF.
Yep.
Dita Garbo, step on me, honestly.
And on that note, we're going to move beyond our first impressions. So we did find out when RuPaul came in that for the first time in main series Drag Race UK history, there is an actual cash prize of only £25,000.
Baby steps.
Baby steps.
Like getting some money. I'm sure the people who got nothing would have appreciated that £25,000.
It is more than my salary. I'll say that.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Julie.
Well,
I'm happy there's a cash prize finally on UK. I'm happy about it. I was hoping we would see one on season 6 since we saw one on UK versus the World too. So I'm happy to see it. So one of these girls will probably get to pay back most of what she spent on her runways.
Yippee.
I can't remember who it was, but one of them said on Twitter that they misheard and thought that she said it was 250,000 pounds.
Could you imagine?
I mean,
oh my God. No.
I wish it was for them. I wish it was 250,000
Right.
pounds for them, but you know,
Right.
baby steps. 25. Maybe they'll
Yeah.
get there. Maybe by
Yeah.
season 30, they'll have 250,000.
And Eris still won't be on Drag Race UK.
Oh man. But
Yes. So we find out they did things a little bit differently this episode with our talent show that we got. They decided, we're going to do a completely separate cabaret show to basically start the episode. And then obviously on the runway, we have the queen, the highly anticipated return, apparently, of Queen of Your Hometown.
Yippee. I was glad. I really like it as a runway category.
Okay.
I will say, I just knew after last season, I knew we were getting the return of the Tickety Boo something.
Oh,
I said, Lord, we're going to get
God.
Tickety Boo. I don't know where it's going to come into this season, where it's going to play, but right off the back, Ru did not disappoint, and she gave us the Tickety Boo Cabaret. And I was like, there it is. There it is, Ru. Get it out of your system because I don't want to hear Tickety Boo anymore. Don't want to hear it anymore. But the Tickety Boo Cabaret, it was, there we go.
Yeah, and it's interesting because it seems like a lot of the queens had the impression like, oh, I have to lean into the cabaret aspect of it. Like,
Yeah.
I feel like if I was there, I'd be like, oh, it's just in a cabaret. I'm still doing whatever talent I have.
Right.
And so I think that kind of led to some conflict we had later on. But it just left me a little confused because I was like, are they supposed to be cabaret or just supposed to show talent?
Talent, right. I would have leaned
Yeah.
into just talent. I would have been like, I'm just going to do my talent regardless of cabaret or not. We just happen to be in a cabaret club, but my talent is my talent.
Yeah. Well, let's talk about the cabaret, shall we?
Shall we?
Boom. On screen, we've got the first 4 people in the cabaret being Lavoie, Octavia, Lil, and Kiki.
How do we start this? How do we want to do this? Do we just talk about all 4?
Or we could do like we did with the ball for Espana. We could just
didn't plan that.
I know. Well, yeah.
We didn't plan.
I say we talk about each of them individually and quickly. And I
Okay.
can start us off, and I'm going to give you
Yes.
rankings for everybody as well, based on
Okay.
how I rank them.
Oh,
So-
I
hold on.
also ranked them overall.
Okay.
So
Okay.
David's not the only one today.
So first we have Lavoie, which I'm so glad she did this song because there has been a part of me that keeps wanting to say Lavoie.
Mm-hmm.
And she sure made it clear, like it is Lavoie. It is not whatever else you think it's pronounced as. But I thought it was cute and funny. I really like the content of the song. She was the one that was like, oh, they must have known about the the cash prize ahead of time because she referenced that in her lyrics. And unless it was like a last
I
minute
think
switch,
it was ad-libbed. I honestly think it was ad-libbed. It had to be ad-libbed. And that made me even more impressed with her.
Maybe so. But I thought it was a really cute song. The song, like melodically, it reminded me a lot of Never Had a Friend Like Me from Aladdin, which I love that song. So I was super into it. I thought she started off really strong. Like this was the perfect person to start the cabaret with because she had that whole vibe. For me, I wouldn't have had her in the top 2 though, but I still had her very strong number 5.
I thought Lavoie was brilliant. I thought this was like, if you go to like a cabaret drag show, this is probably what you were going to see. And this is probably an act she does on cruise ships as well. Like, Lavoie knew what she needed to do. She was like, oh, it's a cabaret, been there, done that. Let's give them something a little special. And she did just that. And she wanted to remind you that it is Lavoie, not Lavoie, not Lavoid, and not Jenny from Lavoix.
That's so good.
I love that.
It's so good. I hate you. I hate you so much.
I hate you more.
I know. I thought Lavoie was a great start. Obviously, we're seeing what she does. She is in her element. They probably did it this way. No shade to Lavoie, but they probably did this episode this way to guarantee that she would get a top spot in the top 2. Conspiracy? I think so. But I thought it was a very strong start. Her voice sounded incredible. I had her 4th.
That is where I had her. I thought she was a good, strong start. I liked her performance. I liked how she just was like, it seemed so seamless and effortless for her to do this because she's probably done it several thousand times before. And it just looked that way. It was very professional. She was just like, I liked how she incorporated the Brit crew, like, bring me this, come on this, right on time. And it was like, oh, new shawl, do this. I like that. I like, if you're going to give me a show, give me a show. Give me something as entertaining. And she had a great voice on top of that. So I was not mad at this at all. I thought this was a really great start to the talent show.
Well, next up we have Octavia. And I was so into everything she was doing. Yeah, this is the type of talent we get a lot on the franchises, but I just really appreciated how hard she went with her performance. Her dancing, like, I was incredibly impressed. You do not want to lip sync against her. I just really I thought the song was a banger too. Honestly, I feel like based on what I got in this performance and a lot of what I got throughout this episode, and I mean this as a compliment. I don't, yeah, not, and I don't, I feel like she feels the most American of any drag queen I've seen on Drag Race UK. Like, there's just like, and it's not like feeling more UK is a bad thing. Like, I appreciate them both for what they are, but I just was really into this. This was my number 2.
Wasn't she the one that said that she's like, um, with the American aesthetic with the British? Oh, that wasn't
That's
her.
Kyron. That's
Okay,
Kyron.
okay. I'm about to say somebody said that, but I couldn't remember who said it.
For me, I don't think she's that Americanized. I think she's taken stock in like her Welsh heritage and identity so much, and then put so much love into that I just, yeah, I think maybe her drag influences are more American, but I would just like to cast everyone's mind back to the promos where I said word for, well, probably not word for word, but I said, "You are not prepared for the way this bitch moves," and I would like to say, "Told you so." You think it's good seeing it on TV? You should see it in person, because I remember being invited the night she did Mama's Drag Battle last year, and it was absolutely ferocious. Yeah, I'm so excited by everything she's done, and I thought she absolutely ate this performance. And I loved she incorporated into Welsh. More Welsh, please.
Yes.
Can we get a queen from the Isle of Man on the next season to, do a rap in Manx?
Not this.
Too niche. Too niche.
I did really love what Octavia did. Yes, it is something we've seen before on talent shows a lot, but the incorporation of the Welsh was something that really, really did elevate it for me. She's a damn good performer. I didn't doubt you in the slightest when you said that, Eris. I'm really, really happy that any hesitation I had about her preseason is completely gone. I will say my ranking does not reflect how much I like her, because I really, really, really think that almost everyone in this talent show did spectacularly. For me, Octavia was number 7.
I ranked her at number 5, because I thought it was a really strong performance. So her being at the top 5 was very, like, definite. I only reason she's 5 because, like, I felt like like you said, David, we've seen the boom cat boom cat, and I loved it. But she was so good, and I loved it. I loved every second of it. There was not a bad moment in this episode for Octavia for me. I loved everything she did, and I think she was so good. I liked her a lot. I am very much looking forward to what she has going through this season. I like her so much. I like her a whole lot more than I thought I would, even doing the promos. And I was like, oh, I really, 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 really like her. So I'm excited for her.
Next up, we have Lil. And I will say, it is rare that I feel like I'm seeing something brand new in a talent show. And she did the quick face makeup, and I was living for it. Like, I know that you're doing well if I can feel myself smiling the whole time I'm watching your talent number. And I definitely was with her. I was just so entertained, and the voiceover was great. Like, it was dumb in the best kind of way. This easily could have been in the top 2. For me, though, it was a very strong number 4.
I'm going to say this with my full chest. Lil had my favorite performance of the evening. I absolutely loved it. I've seen that sort of number before because Dina Cass did this, but she did it to
I was about to bring up Dina Cass. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. I've also seen a lot of poor imitations of Dina Cass's work. However, this was brilliant because I feel like it was new and it was the same concept without, ripping off Dina Cass. It was just an original idea. I loved it. It was the voiceover. It was the way she was just slapping the makeup on and then she pulls off the rope and she's in a clown suit and she looks like a little jester and she's just a silly guy. Yeah, lots of love for Lil.
Lil also had my favorite talent of this cabaret show. I have her number one. I was completely enthralled from start to finish. She is stupid. She is so funny. I found everything she did. Like, it's so my sense of humor. It was clearly inspired by those performances that we've seen, like the Dina Cass. Which, if you've not seen Dina Cass, This Is My Life from Miss Continental, please do yourself a service and go see it. It is a marvelous, marvelous talent number. But Lil was just absolutely incredible. I loved this.
I might have to switch my rankings. I think I might have to change it a little bit because I think I said Octavia and Lavoie were 4 and 5. So I think they're 5 and 6. Yeah,
Okay.
They're 5 and 6 for me. Number 2 is Lil. 2 is my number 2 because I really, really, really enjoyed her talent. And I thought she was so good. So good. I enjoyed it very much. It was different. And I was like, how is putting on makeup so interesting to watch? It shouldn't be that intriguing to watch somebody put on makeup, but the way she did it and the sound that she had going with it, and I was like, oh, I love this. I kind of really love this. And then the finished product, I was like, work. It works. She did it so fast and it was clean. It was good. I liked it. I thought she did a good job. And I was intrigued by it. And I didn't think I would be by somebody just putting on makeup.
Next up, we have Kiki Snatch, and she did a live performance of singing. And I'm gonna say up front, were the vocals perfect? No, they weren't all throughout the song, but it was still such a cool vibe. And it's really a style of singing that I do not think we've heard on any Drag Race franchise. So it just felt really modern and fresh. Like, I've said it before, but every Drag Race queen, for some reason, they think they're a singer. But she showed that she really is a singer. And this is something she could do professionally, even if she wasn't doing drag. I just was super into this. I thought it was so hypnotic. So I really like this. It was my number 6.
I really like this from Kiki. I think it was stripped back. I think it was clean. I loved the vocal run she gave us. I might have gone with a different wig just because I feel like this wig looked a bit dry. Yeah, and I think it would have been nice if she maybe wore something shorter that was maybe a bit curlier because I love the outfit. I just don't think the hair was the fantasy for me. But that's one tiny aspect, and that's really just me nitpicking because I really liked every other aspect of it. And I think overall she did really great this episode.
I was really impressed with Kiki. I didn't know what to expect, and I was marveled and amazed by every note that came out of her mouth. Was it a perfect vocal performance? No. But we've never seen a vocal performance like this one on Drag Race, and that really impressed me. I was really, really happy to see it. And Kiki just keeps exciting me. Every time I see her, she does something or she says something or her personality is just so vibrant that I just want to know more. I have Kiki at number 5.
I like Kiki. I thought she did a very good performance. I thought her performance was good. And I feel like her vocals were fine. Her vocals were good. She gave us some really good runs. Um, it could have been a little less for me personally because I'm not a you got to run all the time queen. That's not me. But I thought she did really, really good. I actually really more so enjoyed the vibe. And see, like you said, Dave, we could be saying vibe a lot when it comes to Kiki. I enjoyed her vibe in this. And I feel like all of the talent shows that I've seen throughout the years the year I've been watching Drag Race, nobody's given me this vibe. Nobody has given me this type of, sultry R&B-ish, da da da. It's always been boom, cat, 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 cat. I'm the queen. I'm a superstar. It's always been that. Nobody has just like, let's bring it back down. Let's give you some, some soulfulness. And I enjoyed that a lot. And that's why she was my number 3.
Okay, next up we have Zahira. So I'm a little mixed on this one, to be honest. I feel like that first slide of 4, that was a very strong slide of 4 to start with. But I thought this was a cute song and she had a lot of energy. There was something about the whole performance that gave me a little bit of Lemon. I think it's a very similar style of like rapping that Lemon does. I think the issue for me was this felt like one of the more predictable things. Like at least Octavia, like it felt fresh and it felt like it was going so hard. But this just felt like a little bit predictable. And there was something weird going on with her actual lip sync. Like she was matching the words, but I still was not buying that it was coming from her mouth, even though it was her recorded track. So I don't know. I hope that's not a reflection of what to expect from her when it comes to actual lip syncing, like the actual mouth part of it. But overall, I put her at number 9.
It was a rough day at the office for Zahira, I will say that. I don't really have much to add. I just don't think she ate. Yeah, sorry, Diva.
Now, I love Zahira. I am obsessed with her. Every moment that she has had so far in this episode was lovely and wonderful and great. This was number 12 for me. The energy was lacking. The performance was fine. I agree with you, David. I didn't believe the lip sync coming out of her mouth either. The posing was good, but that was about it, unfortunately. And I am looking forward to her improving.
Her performance gave me very much mixed vibes. Like I think she looked great, but I was kind of not into what she was doing. I think somebody I don't remember who said it. They're like, she's like a robot. This is giving me very robot. Like it was like, da-da, they go, my moves. It wasn't nothing flowy, nothing, fluid. It didn't seem like she knew it backwards and forwards. And I feel like if you're going to do a dance performance, you should be able to know it backwards and forwards because it's like you know at the back of your hand so you can get it and move it and da-da. It just didn't, I don't know. I just couldn't connect with it. I just couldn't connect with it. So for me, she was like 9.
Okay, next up we have Marmalade. This one's an interesting for me because I really like the idea behind this. She did poetry. You can tell, like I said it earlier, she's very thoughtful. She's very intellectual. She's very deliberate. And I liked what she did here. I don't know that I loved it for Drag Race. I feel like when you do something like this, you have to have an angle that is going to stand out and leave an impression and make it so that people have to pay attention. And I feel like it was just missing that. So I don't know what she could have done to improve it, but I really appreciate the thought behind it. For me, it didn't fully work. I had her number 10.
I'm kind of on the opposite here. I really liked it. That might just be because I myself am a poet, even though like I only write poetry when I'm in a really bad mental state. So all the time. But I think that it was really beautifully delivered. I was expecting her to like change up halfway through and start doing something crazy, but she just stuck with it. And I think the poet itself was really potent in its content. And I think it's of the time because unfortunately in the UK we have just moved from a Conservative government to a Labour government. And we had hopes that things were going to start looking better for LGBT people. Unfortunately, Labour is doing this thing where they're trying to, without spending too long on politics, they're trying to make both sides of the debate happy. However, there shouldn't really be a debate because trans rights are human rights, and you can fight me on that. I am from Hare Hills, and I will win. But to bring it back to the show, Marmalade is a brilliant poet, and I really enjoyed it. I think she definitely deserved her top spot.
But
I'm not doing numbers though because I've not ranked them in my head, and I'm not going to start counting numbers now.
I am gonna definitely agree with Eris. I thought Marmalade should have been in the top personally for this week. I have her at number 6. I really, really, really enjoyed this performance. As someone who does really enjoy spoken word poetry as well, she captivated me from the moment she started. This is another thing. We've never seen spoken word poetry done earnestly on Drag Race. We've seen the funny side of it. We've not seen the earnest side of it. And there was something so refreshing about Marmalade's performance here. I really, really, really did enjoy what she did.
This one, I liked her. I liked her a lot. But this one was hard to rank for me. I think I'm falling on the side with you, David, because I really enjoyed the performance. I really liked what she did. I thought you can't tell me otherwise because her message was strong, it was clear, it was right. It was the right message that she wanted to send. But I'm not sure I enjoyed it as the talent. You know what I mean? And I love spoken word. Don't get me wrong. I am a fan of spoken word. I like spoken word poetry and slam poetry and all of that. I am a fan of it. I just don't know if it, in the midst of all this other talent that we were seeing, it stood out because until the picture popped on the screen and I was reminded what she did, I didn't remember what she did. And so it's just amongst the whole group that was showing their talent, it didn't stick out in a good way or a bad way. It just, got me hitting my microphone here. It didn't stick out to me in a way that made me go, yep, this should be in my top 5. You know what I mean? So for me, she would probably be 7. Well, 8, because I have somebody at 7th already. So yeah.
You haven't said number 7 for anybody yet.
I didn't. Well, then that's her.
Okay.
That's what I mean. I'm like, I didn't think I said 7, but 7 is her.
No. Okay. Next up, we have Relisa. She had an original song, and she did a nice little burlesque type dance, strip dance. I don't know what you want to call it. But what I was saying earlier about not everybody on Drag Race is a singer. That goes for Relisa. I'm going to get it out of the way. The vocals on the track were just okay. But everything else that she did, I really enjoyed. She just came out immediately. The second I saw her, I was like, oh. And I wrote it down, sexy immediately. That's what I wrote down. And she just kept that level up. I just really enjoyed how hard she went with the sexiness. And man, I really like her vibe so much. I think she's going to be so cool to watch if she keeps up this sort of thing. Yeah, I really liked it. For me though, if we were doing a top 6 and a bottom 6, she would have just missed out on that top 6. I had her number 7.
I can't believe on Drag Race UK Season 5, Rihanna finally decided to release new music. I'm going to be making this joke all season. This for me was a moment where I was like, oh yeah, she looks like Rihanna. Like, I see it now. Oh my god, sex. She was amazing. Like, I definitely top 6 for me. I'm going to say like 6 or 5 because now I'm doing numbers apparently. But yeah, she gave like the body, the floor work. I was like, literally, I turned to my flatmate and said, "This is how you do floor work." Because I see too many drag queens where they lower themselves down and start rolling around on the ground, and I'm like, you are not giving sexy. You just look drunk. She swept that floor up and she got nasty with it. I was into it. If I saw this at a bar, I would be screaming.
I was screaming in my home watching this performance. Like, it was so clean, it was so well done. The performance was absolutely flawless. She looked so stupid hot. I'm like, I can't get over this. I have Relisa at number 2.
I have it 4 because she was sexy. She was stunning. She was hot. And I didn't expect it. I didn't expect that from her. I don't know what I expected, but I didn't expect this. And so I was happy. And I agree with you, Eris. Is sometimes you see queens get on the floor and then it just look like they just rolling, or anybody, period. Like, I've seen anybody get on the floor and do floor work, and it's like, girl, no, that's not it. That is not it. You just look like you having a seizure or something down there. It's not good. It's not good. It's not good. But she was sultry. She was moving like fluid. She was moving like water, and that's what I want. I want to feel like, oh, maybe I shouldn't be watching this. This is or maybe I should. It was good. I really enjoyed it. Yeah, she's my number 4 for sure.
Okay, next up we have Chara. So she did a silly instruction or fitness instructor video. And we've seen this type of thing done a few times on Drag Race over the years. It usually does not work out very well. And unfortunately, I don't think it worked out very well for her either. I liked how she leaned hard into the comedy. She had a lot of jokes. They just weren't really landing for me or for anybody in the room. I don't know if she got to practice this in front of people. I wish she had some people who watched it and was able to tell her, yeah, I get the joke. It just isn't that funny. Because I was really rooting for her to do well here. But it just didn't fully work for me. And I did, like, when she had the line at the end about like, oh, somebody else is going to get eliminated. See you next week. I was like, oh, is that famous last word? Are you going to be going home this week? Luckily, she didn't. But for me, she was number 12.
Ouch. So I feel Chara started strong, like the first few jokes I really laughed at. Like, she was like, repeat after me, I'm a fucking loser. Like, getting the other queens to say that was really funny. I think where Chara started to go wrong is she went from like those first few jokes, which were really clever and really well written, to the jokes that she moved on to felt like she was going for the easiest joke she could. And I was a bit like, for me, I know in like if she'd done this at like Yates York, I know the audience there would have laughed. I know that if she'd performed this at Dry Dock and Leeds, it would have got a good laugh out of the audience. I just think it didn't work in a room with probably, 20 people max, 11 other contestants, the 3 judges, and however many camera people they had. I want Chara to do well because I know how funny Chara can be and I know how brilliant Chara can be. I just need her to take the strength she had in the first 30 seconds and try and pull that through the entire challenge. Because I know she's got it in here. And like I said, started off strong. I just think it fizzled a little bit for Chara.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. I actually thought the first couple of jokes were really, really strong, and I was like, "Oh, she's gonna do really, really well." The "I'm a fucking loser" joke was one of the funniest things we saw in this cabaret show. It did really, really fizzle. She got in her head a little bit. I agree with you, David. I don't know if she had the opportunity to really practice this a whole lot prior to Drag Race. I hope maybe she had, maybe with a little bit more development. I think this concept we've seen so many times on Drag Race, and I want this concept to succeed because it is such a funny way to do a talent show performance. Unfortunately, this one also did not land the way that I wanted it to. I have Char at 11th.
Yeah, this didn't do it for me. I want to, as much as I want to love it and love her, it just didn't do it. I mean, sometimes we have bad days, and this was not a bad, great moment for her, and it's fine. She's not defined by this. She's just a bad moment, and we'll move on from this, and she'll show all the other talents that she has. So, but I did have her in last place.
Okay, next up we have Chanel. She comes out to do a live song, accompanied by a piano, and immediately when she got nervous and she's like, "Oh, I got to check my lyrics," I was mortified. I was like, "Oh my gosh, this is awful. I have secondhand embarrassment so hard." And then she pulls out her lyrics and starts singing "Happy Birthday." How dumb, how hilarious. I was obsessed with that. The problem is that all happened in the first 20 seconds. And then we had to hear her sing "Happy Birthday" for the rest of the time. And it wasn't good. It wasn't hilariously bad. It just was something I had to sit through. And when you have your punchline so early on, it just leaves me like, okay, what else do you have? And she tried at the very end. She talked about, "Oh, RuPaul, it's not your birthday till November," or whatever. But still, like, I didn't laugh after that first 20 seconds, and I wanted to. I wanted her to keep giving me punchlines. So unfortunately, this fizzled a bit for me, and I had her number 11.
Yeah, I agree. Sorry, I'm not yawning to be shady. I'm yawning because it's fucking 1
I was wondering.
I thought you
don't
were. That's
believe
why I was
you.
like,
I don't
oh.
believe you.
It's 1 a.m. and I've spent the entire day trying to get students to do their bloody maths work. Of course, I'm tired. I really got a laugh out of this. It made me cackle. I thought it was so stupid to come out and sing "Happy Birthday" for your talent show and then like pretend to be nervous. So that is a famous reference that she made. That is actually like a UK reference for anyone who doesn't know. On X Factor UK, this woman came out to sing "Dawn the Apprentice Jockey," and before she starts singing, she pulls out her notes and it's like, "Oh, let me just take the lyrics really quick." Which, if you're going to do that, don't do that in front of the X Factor judges. God bless. But yeah,
I've watched
So I
most
think-
of the seasons. I don't remember that.
I think she did it because she knew it's a reference that the UK gays, because the UK gays have a reference for really crap X Factor contestants. I think she knew the audience at home that was going to be watching that would get it. I don't necessarily know if that was the best thing to do in front of Ru. However, I think it did work, and I think it kept her safe.
Yeah, I got a real kick out of Chanel in this episode. I really did. I loved the joke. I thought the joke at the end too, I think was really smart. I don't think there needed to be another joke to this routine. Was the singing good? No, the singing is not supposed to be good. That's the point. The singing is not supposed to be great. And I didn't mind it. I thought the whole routine was funny. Given the caliber of this Cabaret Show, I have her at 8th. But I do still think she was really funny.
I didn't laugh. I didn't laugh at all. I didn't laugh at all. I thought she messed up, and then I was like, oh, no, she wasn't nervous. She just was trying to make a joke that I didn't laugh at. And then she started singing "Happy Birthday" horribly, and I didn't laugh. And I was like, okay. And then it wasn't even RuPaul's birthday, and it's in November, and I still didn't laugh. And she walked back and was like, oh, I know your birthday's in November, but that makes it funny. If you have to tell me what makes something funny, baby, it's not funny. I didn't laugh. I didn't think it was funny. I would put her in like share last place with Chara if I could do that because it was not funny. I didn't actually. I'll put Chara T up above her one because I didn't think. At least I laughed at Charity the first joke. I didn't laugh at all at this one. I was like, "What is she doing?" I didn't think it was funny at all. That was just me. Didn't like it.
Well, we did say before we started recording this episode that there were going to be people with wrong opinions. I'm glad to see it's the people on the right side of the panel.
I mean,
Keyword right.
The right side of the panel. Period.
Next up, we have Dita Garbo. She did a burlesque number with an original song. I want to say that I think her original song was probably the catchiest. Maybe to like an annoying level because it was
I love it.
what was it? Listen, Repita.
I love it. I still remember it.
Yeah, and that's part of branding. So I thought this was really smart. Like everything she did here gave such a strong impression of who she is and what you can expect from her. So I really enjoyed that from her. I do think this was a tough talent show to compete because there were at least like 7 people that were really strong. So for me, I had her ranked at number 8.
I liked this. I think I liked the first half of it more when she was using the giant burlesque fans. I think when she got into that actual dance part, she was just doing the robot. I was like, Dita Garbo, you are a trained dancer. Why are we doing the robot? You can do so much more. Give us more because you can. And this is your first time on stage in front of RuPaul. Give us everything. Like, I still think she was wonderful overall. I just know, like, she could have pushed it in the last 30 seconds. I think maybe it might be in my mind holding her to the same standard as Octavia because Octavia was going buck wild the entire time, which I didn't need Dita to do. I just maybe wanted her to either be really consistent with the burlesque or if she was going to dance, just to give me a bit more than the robot. But Dance Bitch by Dita Garbo is going to be certified platinum in the UK. I can tell you that.
Yeah, I think the song is so catchy. Maybe one of the catchiest songs we've heard this year on Drag Race, honestly. It was really fun. The performance was very good. And I was worried about her not being modern enough and being stuck in, doing a very classic version of cabaret drag. And I'm glad to see that I was proven wrong. Absolutely. There was definitely a modernity to what she did here. Unfortunately, the dance, I agree with you, Eris, really let me down from Dita. I still think she had a very good performance, though. I have her at number 10. And that's a strong 10. I'll say that.
How many girls are there?
12.
12, right? Okay. Trying to make sure I'm not ranking people where they don't need to be ranked because I'm doing this off the top of the dome. Dita, I agree with everything everybody said. The robot could do a lot more. Branding on point because I was saying I've been singing Dita since she performed it. So ever since I watched the show, so I'm like, okay, Dita, got it stuck in my head. Love that for you. I think this was like, I would give her 10. Yeah, I would give her 10. But I liked it.
You gave her 10s?
I gave her 10. Period.
Okay, so next up we have Saki Yu. And I guess this is going to be my hot take of the episode. But we had her do this burlesque number where everything went wrong. And I was living for every second of it. I thought it was hilarious. It was so Ben de la Creme coded, and Dela is one of my favorite queens ever. I just thought if you have the limitations of doing burlesque and maybe you're a comedy queen, this is how you do it. I thought this was brilliant. I could not believe she wasn't in the top. For me, this was number 3.
So, this is how I'm used to seeing Saki looking. This is like the showgirl elegance I expect from Saki. And like, this is such a Saki performance as well. Like, I've never seen her do this number specifically, but there's something about like, there's something a little bit awkward about Saki in a really like adorable and endearing way that I really, really love. And I'm glad that she like worked that into the performance through like all the little mishaps and having the one nipple tassel that was longer than the other, the feather falling off. I just think this was stellar, and I think this is the best that Saki could have given for the talent show.
My ranking for Saki is really not going to reflect how much I like this performance because I really, really liked it. I really liked what she did here. Having everything go wrong was really funny. For me, what brings it down under some other people is just that it was a bit simple and I wanted a bit more extravagance. Like I am unfortunately comparing it to Ben, and I wanted a bit more of that exuberance and the extravagance to it. And I didn't really get a whole lot of that from Saki. I do like this performance. I ranked her 9th, but I really like this performance.
Okay. I think I probably messed up, I think, because I like her a whole lot. And I really did like her performance a lot. She would have been like probably 7th for me. I don't know who I had 7, but everybody else shift them down because that's who's 7. Everybody
It's
else
just
shift
Marmalade. That's all that would shift down because you had
Yeah.
8 open.
Yeah, shift Marmalade down because this would have been 7. I thought she was. It was funny. I laughed. I was like, when the thing came off, I was like, "Ooh, oh," and then she's like, "Okay." And then when the performance kept on, and I was like, "Oh, this is what's supposed to be doing. It's she's messing up and having certain things go." I loved it. I loved the nipple paisley, and it was one little hanging one, and then the other one was just droopy, long. I was like, girl, I really liked it. So yeah, she would be my 7.
Okay, and then last we have Kyron featuring Susie. So immediately I was like, okay, this is my sense of humor. I thought this was hilarious. This kind of reminded me of, oh gosh, what is her name? She was
Princess Poppy with the
Yes,
worm
Princess
puppet.
Poppy. Yes, exactly. It kind of reminded me of that, except a lot better, I think personally. Um, Everything she did here, like really, it didn't just show her sense of humor. It also showed like some actual skills she has too. Like you can tell that she is a well-rounded entertainer. And just I love somebody who's not afraid to look completely foolish and stupid in front of RuPaul. And RuPaul definitely appreciates that. And the whole banana split at the end, I was like, why is she putting that all on the ground there? And then she did the split. Come on, girl. This is why she had, for me, the best premiere of anybody this year because of this. This was so good. This was my number one with a bullet.
So I think maybe people who are watching this might have noticed I've been randomly giggling at intervals when nothing funny has been said. That is because I have been zoning out and thinking about this performance. Namely, one moment in particular just always sticks with me. I think it's either after the mayonnaise or the wine, where Kyron just goes, "Susie, you ugly, ugly thing." Like this character's meant to be her daughter, and she's just absolutely so infuriated. She's just like, "You ugly thing." It just sent me so much, and then it was like, "Susie, that's enough mayonnaise." Like, it was camp and so ridiculously stupid. Like, I loved it so much. It made me howl. Like, I was rolling over on the sofa with laughter after this. Yeah. I'm gonna have to say this is probably my number one. Actually, no, it's
She's
2
funny.
after Lil.
She's funny. She's really, really, really funny. Um, she's number 3 for me, but it's simply just because there were 2 performances that I liked just a touch more than what she did. It was just, this is what Princess Poppy was trying to do and failed miserably at. That's all. I loved it.
My favorite talent of the night, number 1, hands down. She made me laugh the hardest, and that's it.
Her.
Would you all like to know quickly average rankings?
Okay, yeah.
Sure.
Okay, and this doesn't include yours, Eris, since you didn't give rankings for everybody. But 12, Chara, 11, Chanel, 10, Zahira, 9, Dita, 8, Marmalade, 7, Saki, 6, Octavia. We have a tie for 4th between Lavoie and Lavoie. See, I told you. Lavoie and Kiki Snatch. And then 3rd is Relisa. 2nd is Lil. And number 1 is Kyron.
Cute.
That's your
Fabulous.
top 2, Lana.
Absolutely. Cute.
Yep, I told you we weren't all going to have the same top 2.
I
But-
thought Kyron would be in all of our top 2, honestly.
As she should be.
Well, Julie.
Well, Julie,
Well, Julie, I
not
just wrote
happening
Ainsley.
today.
some of us can be loud and wrong. It's okay. We all have a right to our own opinion.
We have a rights to our wrongs. Right?
Rights to our wrongs. And I will support your rights and your wrongs.
Anyway, we do we want to talk about the workroom stuff?
Yes.
Quickly.
There's a lot quickly.
So,
but yes.
because we have 2 fabulous, lovely conversations
Yes.
by lovely groups of people representing 2 gorgeous nations. And then sandwiched in between them is petty fighting from white bitches. So, where's the lie? Where's the lie?
I
I
just
wouldn't
like to
call it
say,
fighting, honestly.
working
Like,
in a very diverse high school, that is pretty much the conversations I hear my students having every day.
But we do get a gorgeous conversation between Relisa and Kiki. I didn't realize Kiki was also from St. Lucia before this episode. I don't think she mentioned, I don't remember her mentioning it in her
Yeah.
Meet the Queens at all.
Well, it sounds like she's not from there. Her family
Her
is
parent- her
originally from there.
grandparents.
Well, of
Our
St.
parents.
Lucian heritage.
Right.
Yes.
Mhm.
Yeah. But they talked about both being able to represent St. Lucia in their own way. And that even though things are not great for queer people in St. Lucia, they are both still very, very proud to be St. Lucian, and proud to represent it all the time. And I do love now that we have 3 St. Lucian queens on Drag Race. I love the more that we get representation on Drag Race, the more we see queer people from all over the world. This conversation just melted my heart. I loved it. The way that they just kept the banter going back and forth between the 2 of them, I think is the one thing we're going to see this whole season. And I cannot wait. And it's going to make me really sad when they somehow, for some reason, decide to put them in the bottom 2 against each other, because you know that's going to happen.
We're speaking against it. It's not happening.
I don't want it to.
So it
And
won't. So we speak
I-
positivity into the air.
I want to say how beautiful this conversation was, especially as someone who lives in the UK. The UK is nothing without like immigrants and nothing without the people who've moved here. And like they add so, especially growing up in Leeds, like we have a big West African culture here. We have a lot of Asian people here. I just think it was such a beautiful conversation, and I'm so glad it happens on the BBC because unfortunately, under the government we've just had immigrants being the scapegoat for absolutely everything. And
Sounds familiar.
well, yeah, well, politics as usual. But
Mhm.
I just think it was such a beautiful conversation from both pairs as well. Like it made my heart melt, and it made me so proud to be British. I just want to touch on what Saki and Zahira said about Zahira said, "Oh, I go out and people have yelled Saki at me,"
Mhm.
and I'm like, "You 2 look nothing alike."
Hmm.
like at all. And also, you do very different styles of drag. So anyone who's mixing you two up is either A, drunk, or B, a passively racist idiot. Even when people have shouted Jujubee at them, I'm like, first of all, both of them are taller than Jujubee as far as I'm aware. And second of all, once again, completely different drag, completely different person, completely different nationality. Use your eyeballs. A bag.
It's funny. I love to when we say that people, oh, everybody, they just look alike. I don't know. I just can't tell the difference. It's a difference, and you're being woefully ignorant if you don't want to see the difference in people. And like you said, immigrants are very important into, like you said, your country to the UK. It's very important to this country, and we want to like use them as a scapegoat. Like all the bad things are happening because of immigrants. Are we kidding? Are we kidding? Especially this country was built on immigrants. Like we pretty much was built on immigrants, but we want to say that the immigrants are the problem. Like y'all, let's I'm not gonna get on the soapbox. I'm not. Just do better. Just do better. Just do better when it comes to people who don't look like you. Just take the time, because that's all it does is just take the time to look at somebody and be like, oh, that's Zahira. Oh, that's Suki, Saki. Oh, that's somebody else. You know, it doesn't take much just looking at them and realizing, oh, it's not. And now if you're drunk, that's an issue because you just really, that's something else. But being woefully ignorant. But I did love those conversations between both of those pairs of people because, yeah, it's so different being in a country where it's not technically your home country, but to be embraced by that country is a great feeling, and that I'm sure they want to feel like this is home to them. This is home for all of us, and so I hope that they can just enjoy their careers in the UK and just have the best career ever. I'm happy for them. I'm happy for them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I really enjoyed both of these conversations. And as critical as we've been about the Drag Race machine this year, I think conversations like these are why it's so important that we have this show on our TV, because these are not conversations that we typically hear on television, and
100%.
they're so important because there's so many people who have the best intentions out there watching, and they don't realize how they might be coming across as passive aggressive or having microaggressions. And they need to hear stories like this from three-dimensional characters and really begin to question themselves, check their preconceived notions, their prejudices, and hopefully grow. And I really think just having these stories on TV are gonna breed a lot of growth in a lot of different people. So I really love this.
I certainly hope it does. I hope it does, because just to what you said, David, they are important conversations to be having. Their representation matters. I know we keep saying it all the time, but it really, really does. And there are going to be queer people. There are going to be queer Filipino people in the UK. There are going to be queer St. Lucian people. There are going to be queer Welsh people, queer Scottish people, queer Northern Irish people. Like all of this representation matters, so that people know that there are other people like them that are helping pave the way for everyone to be exactly who they are without repercussion. And it's gorgeous conversations to have. Gorgeous conversations to have. But and then there's petty drama from white bitches in the middle where Chanel is just like, Chara, I don't think your performance was all that great. I think you were a little underwhelming. This, that, and the third, all those things.
I was waiting for Chara to be like, who asked you? Did I ask you what you thought about my performance? Did I come to you and say, excuse me, Miss Chanel, what did you think about my performance? Baby, I would have been like, girl, don't nobody care what you think. It ain't about what you think about my performance. I was like, that was so out of the blue and so unnecessary from Chanel. that was the moment I was like, girl, no. Keep that to yourself. Like that wasn't necessary. You ain't have to go tell that girl, I don't think your performance was um because I would have flipped it right back around like, and yours was? Because what did you do? You sang happy freaking birthday? Girl, bye. Have several seats. Try again next time. Because what you not finna do is come at me with your half-ass performance and tell me my performance was half-ass. No, baby. No, baby. You go sit down. Because if you were anybody else who did a really, really good performance, I would have been like, oh, it wasn't that good. Maybe I would have took it to heart. But from you singing happy birthday, girl, sit down. Go wipe your, de-drag yourself. Take your makeup off and go sit down and go unpack, because what you doing is you in business that does not relate to you. Go mind the business that pays you. That's not mine. Please go. Girl, please. I would tell Chanel to go sit down. No.
Yeah. So my perspective on this is one of three things was going through Chanel's mind here. So either one, she was feeling insecure with her performance and wanted to fluster the person that she thought might be in the bottom two with her. I'm going to choose to believe that was not the case. Number two, it was a more subconscious thing with insecurity, and maybe to make herself feel better, she was thinking about like who was worse than her. And I'm going to choose to believe that wasn't the case either. The third one that I'm going to choose to believe, because I'm giving people the benefit of the doubt these days, I'm going to choose it to believe that she came from a very sincere place of trying to be helpful. The problem was the timing. It had already been done at this point. There's nothing she could do but question her performance. So if you're trying to be constructive, this was not the right time, especially right after finishing. But yeah, I honestly do not think she meant this maliciously and didn't realize how it came across. But it really was not a good look for her. And I do appreciate that she was receptive later on, and I'm sure we'll talk about that too.
I'm about to say, I want to talk about it now, because even after she apologized and was like,
"That's okay,"
she's like, that's okay. I mean, I'm sorry you got hurt, but it's okay. I was just like, nah, girl. I think you was trying to get in that girl head. You was trying to play with her face.
From what I understand, that interaction in Untucked where Chara's talking about it and she's saying that's okay. Apparently, that is a from what I understand, Eris, correct me, it's a British, or more specifically Scottish, way of just kind of acknowledging it and then apologizing. So, she's still a petty bitch, and I love it every moment of it. But from what I understand, it was more her saying that's okay is her way of acknowledging, oh, no, there's an actual, I affected you in this way.
Mm-hmm.
I stand by what I said, but I did affect you, and I didn't mean it to affect you in a negative way. And so I did appreciate seeing her apologize as well. And it felt sincere and genuine. Chanel, for me, in the one episode we've seen, seems like the kind of person who is going to stand behind absolutely everything she's saying. Doesn't want things to come off maliciously, but will be shady and will recognize when the shade has gone too far. You know what I mean? She's one of those girls that she can dish it, but she can take it right back if someone is either being shady, right, just as shady back to her, or is coming back with this affected me in this way, and my emotions are a little bit weird right now, like we saw with Chara this episode. So, yeah. But,
I'm going to word everything I say politely, just because obviously I know Chara, and Chara probably has a good connection with Chanel now that the show's over. That being said, as I was watching this, I did verbally tell Chanel to fuck off. Also, did yell that at my TV.
Well, fair.
I was, for lack of better words, I was pretty much ready to tackle Chanel O'Connor. But Yeah, it made me angry, but I know that it's not that deep. It's just TV, so I'm never gonna condone anyone sending hate to Chanel. Please don't go online and call her a bully or call her this, that, and the other. At the end of the day, it's a produced reality TV show, and we don't even know if she was maybe even prompt to have that conversation. That being said, she's still wrong, and I'm glad she apologized, even though I think the apology was whack. She's still wrong.
Fair and valid and based. Well, like we said, we are going to talk about the runway looks over on Look Over Here, so I guess we should just talk about the results of the
Let's do
episode.
it.
So, we do find out, thankfully, no one goes home this episode, and I love a non-elimination premiere. Yay!
Yeah, when they called the people that were safe, I paused the episode and immediately I said, wait, I wrote this down. I said, wait, this must be all tops. No way are these the safe queens. Like referring to the 6 that went back, obviously. I was like, there's no way they're all safe. Because I'm like, some of those were not great. But yeah, I called it immediately. I was like, yeah, I know where you're going with this. And I'm happy. Very happy.
I really hoped it was, because I didn't, of the people that could have been in the bottom, I didn't necessarily want to see any of them go home the first episode. So I was very, very happy to see it. But we instead get a top 6 of Kiki, Relisa, Lavoie, Kyron, Lil, and Octavia. Overall, I'm happy with this top 6. I'm not mad. It doesn't necessarily match my personal top 6. But I'm not mad at this top 6 by any means necessary at all.
Yeah, this averaged out to our top 6. It was Lana's top
is it
6.
really?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, Werk. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, the only switch I had personally was Marmalade for Octavia.
Yeah, and I definitely would have had Saki in there. Yeah, like I wrote it down immediately. I'm like, Saki was robbed because, well, like I said, I had her number 3, so I had her very high. Like, if they did regular tops and bottoms, she would have been a top for me. So I was disappointed, but they could have had 7 people out there, right?
Right, they could have. Maybe.
I think the top 6 was fine. I don't really disagree with any of it. I do think Kyron had this story the entire episode where everyone was giving her this narrative that she had a big ego. I think Kyron was just like regular levels of confidence, but everyone was projecting that, oh, you think you're going to win, da 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 da. It's like, you're on Drag Race, you should all think you're going to win. Because if you go in with the mindset of, I'm probably not going to do that well, you won't. The people who win Drag Race are always the ones who like come in and be like, yeah, I'm going to fucking win this thing, and what?
Exactly. We do end up with a top 2 of Kyron and Lavoie. Not my personal top 2. Not mad at this top 2 either. That's kind of where I was at. I was like, I'm not mad at this. They both performed really, really well.
Yeah, this was kind of who I expected, especially after hearing the judging. Like, I knew Kyron, like, no brainer. Lavoie, I'm not mad at it either. I did have her number 5 overall, but I do think that her talent was on such a complete opposite end of the spectrum from Kyron that I appreciated that they had her up there. I liked the range in the top 2 here. So I was not mad by any means. And immediately I thought, okay, Kyron, you have a shot at winning this lip sync for the win.
I think she had more than a shot of winning this top 2 lip sync. And the lip sync song is Ooh La La by guest judge Allison Goldfrapp, who I love.
Not Goldflap.
No, at all. Lavoie was there. And Kyron ate. Period. That's all I have to say about it, honestly.
This was such a...
Oh, go ahead, Lana.
I'm gonna say this was such a lopsided lip sync that I was like, if we just wanted to give it to Kyron, just say that. Like, just say it. It was so lopsided. I was like, I can't remember what Lavoie did besides stand there and look at the camera and sing. Kyron was giving everything. She ate, left no crumbs. It was nothing left behind. And Lavoie was like, I'm hungry still. Where's my plate? It's no plate to give because Kyron took them all. It was just that
She was greedy.
lopsided.
More, please.
More right. Please more.
I want to inquire for you guys. Had you heard that song before?
No.
It sounded familiar. I'm not sure.
Because I knew it as soon as it was named. I didn't know if you had asked me to name that song randomly, like if you played it for me and told me who sang that and what's it titled, I would have known, but I would have known the song. Just because I heard it on the radio a lot growing up. In terms of the actual performance, I don't think I need to say much about Kyron other than she burned that stage down. It was when she started flying around on the broomstick that I was just like, she is so stupid. She's just going to go for the dumbest joke she can get every time. Lavoie, I wanted more, and I think she could have done more. Because I feel like Ooh La La is not like a really dancey song. I feel like you can get really sultry and sexy with it. And I think Lavoie could have given that in a very like Madam-esque way. And it just, I think I got a little bit annoyed by just the walking back and forth and then the occasional like, like, you are Lavoie, you're a legend, and you have been on stage. I know you've probably got at least a few more dance moves than you, babe. Even if it's panto, come on, camp it up. Like, if you're not confident delivering it sexy, go silly, go cheesy. Yeah.
She probably doesn't lip sync a lot, though.
I don't think she does at all. Because she is such a talented singer.
It wasn't objectively speaking, it wasn't a bad lip sync. Like, she knew the words, she did the thing. It's just there was no personality to it, and I don't mean that in a disrespectful way. It's just you can tell she is a live singer, and so I'm a little interested to see, she better make sure that she's not ever in the bottom two in a challenge.
She won't be after the producers.
I think every single queen on this season could probably send her home in a lip sync. But I really enjoy her. That's the thing. Is like she's giving me this kind of like Bianca Del Rio kind of professionalism and energy on this season. And Bianca is one of the worst lip syncers that has ever been on Drag Race. And that's not shade. That's just an objective fact. She's even said similar things herself.
Have we seen it?
We've seen her lip sync on Drag Race one time. And it was that top 4 lip sync to Sissy That Walk.
That's right.
She's even said, like, if it was a lip sync SmackDown for the crown, she would not have won her season. So I'm not saying everyone that wins Drag Race needs to be an incredible lip sync artist, but I'm worried for Lavoie now. I am a little worried now, but without a question, Kyron won. Kyron won. Kyron won. Kyron won.
Such a good episode for her.
Such a good episode.
But what else did she win?
Immunity. Immunity is back.
When's the last time they've had that?
We've not had it in the UK before.
Never on the UK before. I think it's honestly because it was a top 2 and because they can't give out cash prizes for the wins. So I guess like I wasn't mad at an immunity being thrown out there. It spices things up. I like immunity every once in a while. Like this moment made complete sense for it.
She didn't need it.
Oh God, no. I don't think she needs it at all. But yeah, that is where we're at. David, do we have a draft update?
We do.
Okay.
But I don't have it pulled up.
Oh, Jesus. Okay.
Can I also quickly say I'm very excited looking at the next episode because Mount Rushmore guest judge for me, Kristen McMenemy.
Kristen McMenemy is back.
And I'm so excited. I loved her last year. I could not get enough of her.
back by popular demand, and I love it.
Yeah.
And I'm so happy about it. But here's where we're at in the draft because I pulled it up. So, tied currently for third place are the bottoms here that we're looking at on this panel today, David and Eris. In second place, not by much, with 10.5 points, thank you, Lavoie, is me. And currently leading the draft with 13 points is Lana.
Me?
I'm not going to... I promise you, Lana, I'm not saying this to be shady, but when was the last time you were in first in a draft?
Big brother.
It's been a minute. But Big Brother.
Big Brother.
That counts. Yes.
Can you just remind us who's got who on their teams?
Yes, please.
Yes, of course I can. So, Team Eris, funny enough, Eris, you have Chanel, Chara, and Relisa.
Work.
So, Team
I'm not
David
winning this
is...
time.
Well, Julie, you said it, not me. David has Octavia, Dita, and Marmalade.
Oh, good. Those are good.
Lana has Kiki, Kyron, and Lil.
Period.
And yeah, and I have Lavoie, Saki, and Zahira.
Can I just say, I remember doing this draft, and the person that I said was going to be the winner was Kyron, and I was being way too strategic when we did the draft. I had to go back and rewatch it the other day because I was like, how did I not get Kyron in the draft? And I watched back, and I strategically did not pick Kyron with my first pick. I picked Octavia because I thought that by the time it got back to me, Kyron would still be on the table because...
Yes, you thought I
knew
was
that-
picking Kiki and Relisa.
And also, you were like, there's something I'm just not jiving with Kyron's personality. So I took that to mean that you were not going to pick her. And the way Eris talked about Kyron, I also thought you weren't going to pick Kyron. So I was like, oh yeah, Kyron's coming back to me.
Maybe that was
Big
my
mistake.
mastermind strategy. I don't
Big
give away
mistake.
the people I like, so y'all won't snatch them from me. Thank you.
I do
still
not
distinctly
regret my
remember-
first draft pick of Zahira. I will say that much also.
Good. You shouldn't.
I can still distinctly remember when we were doing drafts for Canada season 3 and Logan got Jada Shader Hudson over Sam. That was evil. And you're still wrong for that.
I am. And I stand by it because I won that draft. So, period. But with that being said, we are going to go ahead and get out of here. We will be back next week with probably a much shorter episode recap. For episode 2 of Drag Race UK season 6. But thank you so much for joining us. Let us know all your thoughts on the premiere down in the comments below. Make sure to go check out our Look Over Here episode where we will be talking about the entrance looks as well as the runway for this episode. Subscribe, like, and share on the way out. Make sure to check out the description below where you can find all of our audio podcast links, our other YouTube channels, our Patreon, our social media, and where you can get your merch, including but not limited to cup mug. And with all that being said, we are going to go ahead and get out of here. So, cheers!
The taste of Pepsi. You ugly.
I forgot to make this reference. During the podcast, but the bins!